Hello my friends and welcome to the 2022 GMC Sierra 1500 AT4X. I always get the numbers and the letters wrong. You guys will get used to that. This is our vehicle of the day. We're going to be looking at this thing and I'll give you an idea of what it sort of feels like and see if GM got it right. This is the off-road variant, off-road specific variant of the Sierra 1500. It comes with a whole bunch of bells and whistles specifically designed for off-roading should you decide to do that with your $97,000 pickup truck, and we'll get to that later. In the meantime, why don't we start as we usually do and go outside and have a look. I do want to let you guys know today two things. One, if you look at the temperature gauge right there, it's -7 degrees Celsius, which is Canadian temps, and it's really cold outside, and there's a little bit of a wind, a breeze, so I get cold very quickly. So if I start to shake and mumble and not make sense anymore, that's what's going on. And also I'm getting over head cold, so if I run out of breath or do hear weird sounds coming from me, that's what's going on. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a heads up in that regard. And yeah, let's do this. Let's head outside and have a look at what's going on. Okay, so right there she is in sand metallic, as I understand is sand, desert sand metallic, I believe is what they call this particular color. And it's a good looking color actually. I didn't like it initially. I thought it was a little beigey, but it's grown on me. And once you get a little dirty and it sort of takes on some character, it looks nice. I like it a lot. So moving around to the rear of the Sierra, this is sort of where the magic happens with this particular pickup truck. I like what they've done with this one. It has the seat, the footsteps here, the foot holds for getting into the back. And if you're like me and a little short of leg or old or swollen in the middle, that helps greatly getting in and out on a regular basis. What you can also do is break out the fancy tailgate that they provided with this one. This is an optional tailgate. It's a multi-matic tailgate, is that what they call it? And it has a couple of different functions. Hit the button. Nope, not that way. Bottom button first. That drops the tailgate as normal. You can also do that from the inside. You can do it from the key fob. It works really well. And if you hit the other button, nope, that's the one. It breaks the tailgate in half. Don't worry, it's not permanent. Hit that, bring it down, and you get a proper set of stairs. And you get audio controls, speakers in the stereo. So if you're a camper at all, I am very much a camper, and you sort of, you know, you're hanging out or whatever the case may be, this is really actually quite functional. And if you find it difficult to get into the back of a pickup, that is the solution to all your problems. It's really easy to get in, and almost as easy, if you take it gentle, to get out, which I deeply approve of. I really like that. That is a fantastic bit of design. We'll close it up as I grunt my way through this. Sorry. Close her up. The mechanism's a bit stiff. I don't know if that's normal. This is my first experience with this particular tailgate design, and but it's very cold. So maybe I will just blame it on the temperatures. Moving around, we've got 18-inch wheels and I believe it's 32.5-inch rubber. It's a good combo. You want a lot of sidewall if you're actually going to go off-roading. For comfort purposes and to prevent punctures, you want to air down a little bit. I'm not a 4x4 master by any measure, but I do like to get out there every once in a while, and we always air down, and we've rarely ever had problems. So this is a good arrangement to see. You don't want big crazy rims on this thing. You want lots of rubber in between you and all the things that want to ruin your day while you're out there. So that's nice to see. It's a good call. Oh, excuse me, it's freezing. Moving around to the front, this is sort of this vehicle is all about its rear and its face. This is a good looking truck. I really like the way it looks. You know, the headlights are nice. The entire arrangement is really good. This AT4X version has like a multicolored grille here in the front, which is really quite pretty actually, not when it's all covered in dirt and muck like it is today, but if you could actually see it, it would look great. So I really like that. It's a nice little design aesthetic, and the red tow hooks really stand out. I like that. That's really that's a nice touch. So I'm gonna release the hood and I'll show you guys what's going on underneath there. Give me 1 second. All right, let's see what's going on underneath. There we go. That works. The hood is on double struts, which is really nice. You have to muck around with trying to find the support bar. And underneath here we have the 6.2 liter V8 pickpocket, as I like to call it. This is the only power plant you get with this engine. Whew. windy, and it provides enough power, sufficient power for what you're doing with this one. But my god, it is bad on gas. It is very thirsty. I don't know where GM got its ratings, but I have been struggling to get anywhere near the estimated fuel capacity of this particular power plant. But nevertheless, there it is, and let's get inside because it's freezing cold. All right, we are inside where it is considerably warmer, and we'll start with the dash. The dash layout is fairly typical. You can make great changes on either side. You can, all your driver information, whether it be fuel economy, tire pressure, etc., all that kind of stuff, you can move it. Sorry, ran out of breath. To whichever side of the dash you prefer. That's entirely up to you. I'm a bit lazy, so I just tend to leave it however it comes, and this works just fine for me. But all those controls are right here, and this is your cruise control switches and buttons, and then you got your heated steering wheel. Why is that off? My, shame on me. And that's basically the steering wheel. I love the paddle shifters. I really do. This the 6.2 liter on this thing produces about 420 horsepower. You don't need paddle shifters. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Anyway, over here you have your four-wheel drive controls, so you can switch from 4 high to 4 low. Various other vehicle controls are over here. Your e-brake is over there, electronic e-brake, and right there, if we look, right there is your HUD control. You can change the brightness, etc., and the various information that's displayed. I don't know, can you guys see the heads-up display? It's a little tough sometimes on camera, but it's in there, and it's really nice actually. It's a really good heads-up display. It gives you a bunch of information. Again, you can customize it as you see fit. All right, and then we have it's a 13.4-inch infotainment screen right here in the middle of the console, right where it should be. I like the way it's organized. You have a home button, very, very important. I always need to have a home button. This utilizes some sort of Google architecture. I've never seen this particular version of it before. All the Google Android Auto stuff that I've seen is in Volvos, and it's absolutely horrible. I can't stand it. This is pretty usable. I just can't figure out why GM would swap this for what they had. Their native system is perfectly fine. It's actually one of the things I happen to like a lot about their cars, and they swapped that for this. It sounds like corporate nonsense, but there you go. So this has you can go wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and you can have, so if you switch into that, that'll take you into there, and then you can just hit the button. It takes you right back. You always have Google Maps, and then you have various functionalities, etc. You can control HVAC through here. You get the really excellent camera system controls. You can pick anything you want, and it will represent it here. The cameras are really clear. The resolution is really clear. You can see almost everything. It's really nice. It gives you a really clear idea of what's going on around your. So look at that, eh? Well, that tells you what you're gonna drive into. But it gives you a very clear idea of what's going on around you, which is nice if you're, crawling around rocks or shopping carts at Costco. And moving on, we've got the start button. I love this thing. I don't know why. It's just a little different, I guess. But not just different for different sake, but it's really neat actually. It works really well too. It's nice. It's very simple, and I really enjoy that. You have your environmental controls, heated seats, cooled seats, etc. All of that here. Along the bottom here, all your driver aids, the auto on off, which I much prefer to have off while driving. And then your traction control, hill descent control. These are your diff lockers for your gnarly off-roading that you're going to do lots of in this truck. I absolutely guarantee it. Your shifter, I like this shifter. It's a good design, nice and square, kind of bulky. You got to hit the button on the right here in order to get it to shift any sort of gears. So you pull it, it'll drop into D, and then electronic park, of course. You've got your trailer brake control right here, which is a good place to have it, nice and conveniently located in case you need to make adjustments while towing. And then you've got cup holders, you've got center console, which has a huge storage bin, well, a sizable storage bin anyway. And you've got USB ports, you've got a full 110 volt plug-in, which is really nice. You never know when you need that. And more cup holders back here, mostly in service of the back seats, of course, but they're there nevertheless. And finally, sort of wrapping up the dash, you've got storage. This is obviously where we keep the crap in the car, but look at that, eh? It's I don't think it's supposed to be Double push. Okay. Nope, definitely not. A little sticky. That's, yeah, that's not encouraging. And you got the glove box down there, etc. And you have an excellent Bose sound system in this thing. It's really good. It's a good stereo. And I love the look of those speaker grills. They're absolutely fantastic. I don't know how big speakers actually are. I didn't rip them off and look, but that's a really nifty piece of design. I really like that a lot. And finally, oh, we almost forgot the rear view mirror camera arrangement. So you flip it and you get a, oh, look at that guy. You get a standard sort of rear view mirror, and then flip it again and you get the camera, which is by far the one I prefer. When people pull up behind you, they get really close, like uncomfortably close. Like I feel like I'm going to get arrested close. But invasion of personal space aside, it really gives you a very clear idea of what's going on behind you, which is really nice in any sort of heavy traffic or whatever the case may be. If it's snowing like it is today, or has been recently, I should say, it's always nice to know who's going to smash into the back of you before it happens, so you can brace yourself. Anyway, moving on. We have a, can you guys see that? I hope so. Sunroof. It's very small, which is commonly commented on this thing. It doesn't bother me. I'm not a huge sunroof guy, but again, at this price point, I'm gonna nag on price later, but at this price point and spec level, I would expect to see a panoramic sunroof. Again, we get Alcantara all along the ceiling, which is really nice. Look at this. This is manual. Of all the things to not bother with, that's fascinating. Yeah, they really phoned in the sunroof on this vehicle. Forgive me, I had to pause there for a moment and blow my nose. I wanted to point out, we're in the back seats, by the way. Look at these, aren't they lovely? One of the things I really like about this particular trim level, I'm sure you can get these mats with other things, with other levels of this vehicle, but it is a full bad weather mat designed for mud, rain, etc. And it has a little carpet insert in the middle, which is adorable, and then it completely covers the carpet underneath, which is really nice. I'm an amateur detailer, and the cleaner you can keep the carpet, the easier it is on you on the back end. I can tell you that much. We've got obviously the leather upholstery in here. It's a decent quality. It's kind of a typical GM upholstery, I think, which is fine. That's not the curse word it used to be. One really neat feature is storage behind these seats. If somebody were to get crafty and slide that out, and then like that, the cops will never know what you have in there. Isn't that great? I love that. That's fantastic. Anyway, moving on. I'll fix that later. Underneath you have storage. There's my crap. A towel, because it is wetter than all, well, it's wet. And you pop these down. You don't have to do a latch release or anything, which is, I don't think so anyway. I just pulled it down, and it's really nice. We've got separate heated seat controls, which are very, very useful, especially this time of year. You've got vents back here, some USB-C ports, etc. And that is, well, and don't forget, sorry, cup holders, of course, should you need them. Pop that back in. And that is kind of the back seat. Let's see what it's like for legroom, though. That's the other thing. You guys all know what an enormous man I am. And no, legroom is good. Headroom is excellent. I'm only 5'8", so forgive me, genetics are cruel, but I think this is this is a good space back here. Ooh, good space. I speak clearly. So yeah, you could have 4 full-size adults in this truck with absolute comfort, no issues whatsoever. It shares that luxury with the F-150 for sure. So that's kind of the benchmark in my world for rear seat room. Okay, so we've got the 6.2 liter V8 in this thing. It is, I don't recall off the top of my head how old that power plant is, but it's not one of their newer ones, and it, yeah, it is a pretty punishing motor to be working with. You know, if you handed any manufacturer 6.2 liters, I'm fairly certain they could extract more than 420 horsepower out of it. This is, and it's not, as I said before, it's not an underpowered truck. It's just not enough power if you're going to put 6.2 liters under the hood and have it drink fuel the way it does. There has to be a payoff for that, and this vehicle just doesn't give it to you, unfortunately. The power plant's really disappointing. It does give you about 460 pound-feet of torque, which is, again, perfectly acceptable, especially because this is not supposed to be, as far as I am aware, a sporty sort of vehicle. It's not designed for 0 to 60 times. I'm certainly not going to be testing that today because you know, ice and things like that. So yeah, I really think the 3-liter diesel, the Duratec diesel, would have been a perfect mate to this, for this setup. I mean, I've driven the Duratec diesel like 3 times in various other vehicles, and I mean, I had it in the Escalade, and it was incredible. It gave me 11 liters to 100K, which for a vehicle, you know, the size of Manhattan, I mean, that's pretty good. I like that a lot. So that would have mated very, very well with this system. I don't think we're going to see a whole bunch of internal combustion power plants coming down the pipe. So I guess if this is the type of vehicle you want, this is what you're stuck with. So this particular variant, the AT4X, quite right, is their off-road variant, designed to, you know, roll it out of the dealership and take it straight to the bush if you like, that kind of thing. Well, that guy should have cleared some of that off there. Anyway, and that's all well and good, but at $97,000, this is, nobody's taking this into the bush. This is a pretty luxurious vehicle. You know, when you go out into the bush, you want something that's kind of basic and dependable and reliable, and that's it. You know, you start scratching this thing and you're gonna start weeping. You know, it's too expensive. It doesn't make any sense. I think it's all just pretense and nonsense. You know, it's a bunch of add-ons and packages that the marketing guys can sell. You know, and if it's parked out in front of your house, people think you're rugged. I don't know. I'm not really sure what the exact thought process was behind this stuff. But, you know, I mean, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, because I'm sure they sell tons of these things. So, sorry, just switching her to 2-wheel drive. Yeah, it's, you know what, I mean, as any sort of off-road bush basher, this is not what you're going to buy. It's a perfectly acceptable pickup truck. It's extremely capable, all those sorts of things. But the idea that you're going to take it out and go 4x4ing with it is absolutely ridiculous. Nobody's going to go do that. So driving, we're doing a little stretch on the highway here. Visibility is very good. That's extremely important, especially when the weather is a little less than ideal. The rear view camera is really useful. You can see, hopefully you can see how clear it is and how much information it gives you, which is really nice. And there are no egregious blind spots, etc. So yeah, this is a very well designed car in that regard. So the ATX4 is designed as the off-road variant of the Sierra 1500. And that's perfectly fine. I think it's great that manufacturers want to produce off-road variants, factory direct off-road variants of their vehicles. What they seem to have completely forgotten is the fact that vehicles get beaten up out in the bush all the time. I don't know anyone who would spend $100,000 on a vehicle like this and then immediately take it out for anything approaching serious off-roading. It just strikes me as ridiculous. You know, if you're doing gentle stuff like I do, I mean, you can do that in any vehicle, really. Like any 4x4 pickup is perfectly fine for that application. If you're looking to build a reliable 4x4 with something new, you know, you would be best to get something a much lower trim level and then build it up yourself. You'd save yourself a boatload of money. You'd probably get a better 4x4, and you know, you get the satisfaction of having something that's truly unique as opposed to whatever somebody else decided you should have. That's just an opinion piece. Most of the time people are going to buy these and they're going to sit in the driveway and everybody's going to go, yeah, I could go climb a mountain if I wanted to, and then they'll go to Costco. So the 2022 GMC Sierra ATX4. It's a really nice pickup truck. It seems to be pretty well made. The materials are really good. It really illustrates how much GM has improved their manufacturing processes, especially when it comes to their pickup trucks. And it is honestly a really decent pickup truck. What it isn't is a bush basher. That's not what it's intended for. And I think GM actually knows that. I think they throw a whole bunch of stuff on it and like to encourage people to think that, you know, people feel cool when they have a vehicle that's capable of going wherever, whenever, however they prefer. But most of them will never see that, not until they hit the used market and they've got some sizable rust issues, etc., to be dealt with. So, you know, that is what it is, right? I mean, that's how they market cars these days, I guess. What can I tell you? Nobody's taking Range Rovers out into the bush either, so certainly not where I live. So that is what it is. As an off-road vehicle, it is a dud, simply by virtue of its expense. But as a luxurious pickup truck, it's a decent option. If you were seriously interested in this one, consider its cousin, the Chevy Silverado ZX2. Am I getting that right? Yeah, the ZX2. That's really nice. Has a very distinctive face. I don't think it's as pretty as the Sierra, but it is very different looking and looks extremely rugged and off-road ready. So if this one interests you, give that one a look too. Both are valid options in this particular market segment. All right, my friends, well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you all very, very much for joining me. But before you go, I do want to touch on something. I want to thank you guys for something. My first video, which was on the Chevy Bolt EUV, I posted that at this point about a week ago, and incredibly, people watched it. About 4,000 views. I was blown away by that. I was, you know, people were kind in the comments for the most part, and, you know, people put some eyeballs on it. So I assume you guys took some value from that, and I wanted to thank you for making the time to watch that video. That was a very nerve-wracking experience to post that, and then all of a sudden people started to watch it, which was great. You know, it was 3 or 4 days of watching, oh, some extra views, oh, look at that, oh my god. So I wanted to thank you guys for that. That's very encouraging. So you know, hopefully this will be the third one. So, you know, I hope you guys continue to take some enjoyment from it, and I will continue to attempt to improve my videos for your viewing pleasure. So thank you all very, very much. Have yourselves a very, very good day, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.